Welcome back, Guardian. Today we're going to talk about bows. In the past, a bow has never been seen as an aggressive type weapon. They're usually used kind of like sniper rifles, but with the Unstoppable mod now present in the game that you can put on bows, we're going to talk about legendary primaries using No Turning Back and the Spiteful Fang to show you how even a Spiteful Fang with a draw speed of 576 can actually keep up with bows such as No Turning Back, which is a higher impact bow, Spiteful Fang being the lowest type impact. If you go to light.gg, these are all the rolls possible with Spiteful Fang. So I have pretty much the best roll you can get. I'm going to have Threat Detector on mine other than Rampage, but I kind of like the Threat Detector and we're going to talk about that more. But Air Assault and Threat Detector are my two perks, so let's take a look at this bow. I farmed probably 15 of these bows until I came across this one, and this is the one I decided to masterwork, but I have Agile Bowstring for faster draw speed, making it a little bit lighter and more agile. I have another perk for more accuracy, but I actually liked Compact Arrow Shaft to have more arrows and harder activities when you have to use a lot more of your bow than normal. And I just want to mention this, I'm not going to start maining a bow or anything. This was just a test that I was using basically, and just to show you how bows really do kind of wreck. But the other perk is going to be Air Assault, which is kind of similar to having an Icarus grip, which you're going to be using a ton of that, especially when you're trying to maneuver around adds and stay alive when it comes to harder hitting adds. And then when we have Threat Detector, that's going to let us reload our bow faster to keep getting more arrows out. It's going to give us increased agility and stability. And then we have Unstoppable Arrows and the Masterwork for draw speed to make it that much faster, because when you're using an Unstoppable bow, you only got to hit an Unstoppable one time, and it doesn't matter how much damage it is. So the faster you can pull that back, and it procs every time you pull it back, which makes it really great to keep getting Unstoppable arrows over and over again when you have a lot of adds around you and you're playing more aggressive. Here's an example of this. You can see all the damage numbers from hitting multiple adds at a time just by having that one arrow with the Unstoppable, and it puts out a ton of damage. Now before we go into the battlefield, we're going to go to the Tribute Hall first, do some damage comparison, and then I'm going to show you a couple of tips you can use with bows when you're playing aggressive and up close. So let's hop into that now. So what we're going to do is test the No Turning Back, a headshot damage on an Orange Bar Cabal, or just an Orange Bar in general. And it takes 2 arrows to the head to kill them no matter which bow that I'm using, but I'll show it to you anyways. So you see the second arrow, and then we go to Subtle Calamity and do the headshot, and then do the damage comparison. You'll see it's a little bit in front of the L, and it also takes 2 shots to kill it in the head. And then we go to the Spiteful Fang and do that headshot, and you see the damage isn't that much far behind. It is behind, but by not much at all, really. Unstoppable Arrow gives it that bonus damage going, which is around 10 to 15%, and also takes 2 shots. However, if you go to some Orange Bar adds, such as right here, you'll see the Subtle Calamity takes it out in 2. But Spiteful Fang takes 3 arrows. And keep in mind, the better you are at drawing and timing your pull speed and stuff like that, the more damage you'll do. So you have a brief window right when you pull it up. But you'll learn later in the video, when it comes to aggressive combat, you a lot of the time aren't going to get your best pulls on it. You're just going to have to get damage out where it counts. So right now we're going to talk about just fast pull speed and just going target to target basically, and knowing how many arrows it's going to take to down each target. So you're going to see me do a lot of slight pulls instead of full pulls on a lot of this, because I know the orange bar on the left is going to take 3 arrows. So there's no sense in me wasting all that draw speed to pull it back all the way when it's going to take 3 regardless. So I'm going to mix in slight pulls and full pulls to down it to save more time killing that ad. Knowing that you don't always have to draw your arrow back all the way, and knowing that you don't always have to hit a crit shot in aggressive combat is really what I'm getting at. So let's go into some more gameplay, talking about melees and small pulls to do more damage to down targets when you're playing up close and aggressive. So you're going to see me do a lot of slight pulls mixed with melee abilities. You just kind of throw it out last second basically, and then mix it with your melee button at the same time, because each small pull is equivalent to about what a melee does, and you can stagger targets by doing this if you're up close, which I'm going to show you a lot of clips of this later. But learning this tactic is really important when playing aggressive with a bow, because those slight pulls equal a lot of damage when you mix it in with those melee abilities. A lot of the time, this will equal a life or death situation just by knowing that timing and knowing how to do those melees and those little tiny pulls that you don't think do much damage. This is probably one of the most crucial tips to know with a bow when you're trying to just run and gun and keep going. Now I'm going to show you when the Threat Detector is active, how fast the pull speed is on it, and then we're going to time it versus No Turning Back, see what the time to kill difference is. We're killing 5 of these orange bars, and keep in mind, No Turning Back naturally has delayed explosives, so that on top of the Unstoppable is going to make it do a lot more damage, but I'm going to show you how the speed of this bow really just matters. So 15 seconds to kill 5 orange bars. Now we're going to test No Turning Back, do the same type of kills again, and then see where it times out at. The faster that I can kill these adds, the faster it procs to launch another ad. So time to kill is going to be all balanced on this and really a controlled test, because the faster you kill it, they all respawn at the same time. And you can see it takes 17 seconds to kill 5 orange bars versus the faster firing, lower damage type Spiteful Fang. Both of these bows are really great bows, so I'm not picking one over the other or trying to favor another one, really just getting the purpose of how unstoppable arrows mixed with this bow is really nasty during this DLC. You'll see right here just against his Lost Sector ads. Of course this is going to be a much faster time to kill because these ads suck and they're just kind of really weak and stuff. But you can see just how fast my draw speed is to keep running and just keep down in each ad that I come to. And it doesn't matter if I'm hitting crit or not, it's still going to kill them. And that's really what I'm getting at again with the crit shot versus body damage when it comes to having unstoppable rounds or really explosive rounds in general on any type of weapon, because they stagger so much faster by hitting their body. An explosive round weapon is a shoot first, think later type weapon. You're just trying to get it out to do the stagger, and then you can line your shot up. And when you have aggressive type ads that are higher light than you, or just max game, in-game ads basically, you don't have a lot of time to think because they're more accurate, their bullets fly a lot faster, so you don't have time to sit there and try to line up every one of your shots. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're playing on a controller, you're going to have the same kind of drawback that everybody else does, and that's going to be time to go to crit and accuracy speeds on a console versus like a PC and things like that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to side-by-side compare these, let you see the damage differences in them, and then I'm going to play two types of aggressive. I'm going to take the shortcut way on the left and try to fight them from that angle, and then I'm just going to jump right in the middle of battle versus these ads, and I'm going to show you again that tip that I just talked about, knowing the small pull and the melee mixed in. So on this kind of ad, on some ads, it's always going to take one more arrow than the no turning back, but you'll see right here that I do that, and then at the very last second, you almost couldn't even see it, but I threw an arrow and meleeed at the same time, and little tips like that can really just save you. Here's another benefit you get out of the lightweight by using Spiteful Fang. We're going to do no turning back gameplay first and then go back to Spiteful Fang. I also left this clip in to show you how the quick launch on Sleepless is really crucial for situations like this. Not having to use anti-barrier rounds, but on anti-barrier champions, Telesto and Sleepless are pretty king at that. Both of these bows in aggressive combat kind of play the same, but I'm going to point out the weaknesses on having the slower firing draw speed of having the no turning back versus Spiteful Fang. And you can see the plus right there that it takes out that one turret in one shot. And then right here we're going to do that slower draw speed. It's going to cost us to get meleeed. And it still wasn't enough damage even with the delayed explosives. That just goes to show you how powerful the unstoppable rounds are too. And then handling on this bow when you're under fire and in odd terrain such as right here. This is when this bow standing toe to toe with ads isn't going to be as reliable as Spiteful Fang that we're going to talk about later. But you can see right here that it's kind of a struggle to hit crit shot or any kind of like staggering shot that I can do, because a lot of these shots are going to be missed. It will hit them, and this is a good bow. The handling on it is really great, but I'm going to show you the difference in that slight handling difference between Spiteful Fang and this when it comes to just standing toe-to-toe to every type of ad. But you are going to find situations where this bow is going to dominate over Spiteful Fang versus one-shot ads. But anytime you're on rough terrain, such as right here, and trying to hop around, you don't have air assault because this bow only rolls one way, hit fire, grip, and delayed explosives. But you can see that it does manage to take all these ads out, but having a faster draw speed and having those unstoppable arrows every time that I pull that back to stagger all the ads around would have been a lot more helpful in that situation. But like I said, we're going to talk more about that later. Let's go to some other gameplay now. We're going to jump right in the middle of these ads and just try to stay alive using no turning back first. I don't know how this gameplay is going to interpret towards you, but this is actually hard to stay alive when you're using no abilities and just using a bow alone and trying to jump in the middle of all these ads. So I'm just going to show you when you're using this bow alone, how it's more of a stand back and stationary type of bow more than it is an up close and aggressive type of bow. It is a real good bow to have, don't get me wrong, but you can see right here, I'm in trouble after missing that one shot, and it's because the handling on this bow doesn't allow me to correct my shots or line them up when I'm under fire or at a red shield stage. If the target isn't directly lined up in front of you, you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to land your shots more precisely or where they need to matter. And when you're at this kind of difficulty, every shot matters. So you can't sit there and try to line up every crit shot when you're trying to stand toe to toe. You just have to get the damage out however you can, and every shot has to matter. You can see right here I get stuck against this block, and because of that, I'm now pretty much done because the draw speed on this bow and the handling of this bow isn't going to be as accurate and as clutch as I need it to be in that situation to be able to get out of it. If I would have had handling and a slight faster draw speed on this bow, it just makes gameplay a lot more smoother because I can line my crit up. I'm actually trying to line crit up on some of these shots, but the handling is so slow that it doesn't matter how fast I push my joystick, it's still not going to be as accurate because it's not built this way because of how this bow is balanced. They don't want to make it to where it's like the ultimate up close and far away bow, so it has to have some kind of balance for it. But when you're trying to do fast on the move kind of shots where you don't have time to think, you just have to pull and draw and line up as quick as you can, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty with this just because of the draw speed and because of the handling on it and the accuracy this bow naturally has, which is a very accurate bow. But when you're in close call situations and you're trying to just stand and not hide behind cover with these adds and just keep drawing and keep throwing arrows out one after the other, that's what I'm going to show you with air assault and having the threat detector and that fast draw speed with the stats on that bow, which I think that's the best spiteful fang you can get in this game versus all the other ones that I tried. Having a 600 and plus draw speed with the unstoppable was okay, but I did like having the 576 draw speed that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But like I said, this bow is really good to have. It's just the fact that on some terrain and then in some close call situations, this bow will just not let you line it up quick enough because of the time that it takes to aim to crit and just to draw it back and pull the bow over and over again. So you're constantly getting pushed back against the adds while you're trying to push them basically, and it won't happen because of just how this bow is balanced, the damage that it can do, and the accuracy on the move that it can do. And even when I do these short draw speeds with the delayed explosives, it does do a lot of damage, but in some situations it's almost not even enough damage. But anyways, it's important to learn how to play like this because it teaches you movement. Every move that I make has to matter, and that's what I'm going to show you with air assault because I have to do a lot of jumps to get around a lot of these shots. Now, if I was standing back, 100 yards or whatever, and then aiming, of course I'm going to be so much more precise with every shot because there's no threat, you know what I mean? But if I'm trying to keep pushing adds, you can't think about anything. You just have to keep doing damage how you can do it, and the faster you are at lining it up because of how the bow is statted out and balanced, that's what's going to make a better bow depending on how you want to fight with it. But if you're trying to go for max kill numbers and get a ton of kills with a bow, learning how to fight like this, mixed with your abilities and other weaponry and things like that, allowing you to play more up close and aggressive, that's what I'm really trying to get at. It is becoming beast, pretty much. If you didn't know what air assault was for, that's what I'm about to show you right here, mixing with the other stats like the unstoppable arrows and threat detector, and how every shot matters. So on these kind of adds, the turrets, it takes 2 bows basically. But you'll be surprised that this actually clears it out 20 seconds faster than no turning back whenever I did times on this because all the situations play out the same. But air assault and trying to dodge these with the lightweight on top of that and not get hit by many of these shots is really crucial right here. I have no time to aim anything. I just have to keep pulling and keep shooting, and because of the unstoppable proccing every shot, I can stagger everybody on every shot pretty much. And that's the benefit that I'm getting out of this bow, is I'm never at really any risk because all I got to do is do a fast draw, pull it, fire it, hit adds, and then they're staggered and stop for a second to let me keep shooting arrows back to back until they're finally dead. Most people think about air assault for doing shots like this where you're like way in the air and stuff like that. It's actually really beneficial for these short hops going add to add and being able to maintain crit shots or body shot damage or just hitting the target at all depending on what kind of stance you're in. Doing those short hops is a dodge technique that you have to know how to do to not be shot and killed by these adds, because if you stand toe to toe too long and you just stand there trying to aim each crit shot, you're going to keep getting pushed back so much that you're just eventually going to die because you're just going to waste all your time trying to aim your shot instead of just getting it out, staggering, and just doing whatever kind of damage you can to, again, keep staggering these adds, just like right here, throwing these arrows out. It doesn't matter where I'm hitting them, they're staggered with each one, and they're accurate with the air assault, and I'm able to keep pulling it back even faster, which is going to equal faster time to kill because they're going to be staggered much more sooner than as if I have a slower draw speed. So during this DLC, is what I'm really trying to get at, bows are really beast right now, especially fast draw bows, or like the Spiteful Fang for primary, because it doesn't have that 10% drop off for being an energy weapon. So you can get a lot of damage out with this, what is considered a weenie bow, because if you take off unstoppable arrows, it's not really that beast at all. You really just have to have these on here, and that's why it's so important during this DLC, especially if you're a bow user, because you can just dominate situations and stay alive. But pay attention to the air assault, all the short hops that I'm doing, and just how fast I'm able to pull this back to keep staggering the adds. If they are in the air, they don't stagger, such as right here. But you see me hop backwards and still maintain the crit shot and maintain more shots from the draw speed. And then right here, again, adds running up. They're about to start pushing and closing in on me. And this is a clutch situation you're about to see right here. Watch this fast draw speed versus these two phalanx. Pop him, pop him, pop him. And that fast speed, because of threat detector, is why I like this over the rampage, because having that fast draw speed and those close encounters like that is what makes this bow a beast for running gun and close quarter combat, because it just doesn't stop basically. And that's why I like the increased quiver, because sometimes you will run out of ammo with this, but by having that, it makes it a much more badass bow. But that's really what I'm trying to get at. Spiteful Fang, if you can farm it out and get air assault and get threat detector and try to get the agility draw speed, that's really beast to have, especially with a draw speed masterwork, because like I said, it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing to unstoppable targets. As long as you can pull it back and it's immediately ready to go and quicker, you're going to stay alive and beast a lot more. And that's really just what this video is about, is bows and how to beast with them. So if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up is highly appreciated. You could share it to your other bow friendly friends, and I will see you all next time.
In space.